And welcome back to the Murdy Creative Co podcast. I'm your host, Colin Murdy, and today's topic is tax time. But first, I want to say thank you to everyone who supported the company so far. If you haven't got a chance, go check us out on the web at murdycreative.co. That's M-U-R-D-Y creative.co. Or you can check us out on Facebook and Instagram by searching at murdycreative.co to see the best of our product shots. Follow us, keep up to date with our daily photos, and be the first one to know about new product launches. You can also use the subscribe button at the bottom of our website to be included in all of our new product announcements. Be sure to check out our laser engraving, personalization options, and exclusive colors on the website, or you can blank one on Amazon Prime. So, in the immortal words of the great comedian Tim Hawkins, who can tax the sunrise? Who can tax the trees? Let you run a business and collect up all the fees. The government, oh, the government can. It's the worst time of year. It really is. For those of you who don't know, business taxes for companies are due today, 3/15. And that is a month, obviously, before the rest of you have to pay taxes. But unfortunately, a lot of the people that get the worst of the tax end, the short end of the tax stick, is small businesses. Now, I'm going to do my best to turn this episode into something other than a rage-filled, just stress-inducing, anger-provoking episode about why the government is the worst possible person for me to give my money to. But no promises. So if that bothers you, if you're one of those people who sits there and thinks the government's the good guys, though, they're out there helping people, this may not be the episode for you. And I feel like this is a fair warning. So, I am a small business owner. I do not make that much money. I wish I did. It'd be wonderful if I did. Frankly, that'd be really nice. And maybe someday I will, but it's not this day, and it's not recently, that's for sure. So not only do I not make very much money, but last year, the business took a loss, a pretty hefty one because of the move and because of all of the things we've talked about over the last 3 months of this podcast. But I still had to pay and have to pay and do not get back $30,000 in taxes. And you may say to yourself, Colin, if you didn't make that much money and your business took a loss, how do you have to pay $30,000 in taxes and not get that back? It's very simple. I have employees. So there's this thing out there that people always look at and go, wow, the government is taking so much of my paycheck, right? As soon as you get your first paycheck, suddenly everyone turns into a Republican. You look at your paycheck and you go, wait, I have to pay that much to the government just for existing, right? Just for having a job. And that's, by the way, your Social Security and your income tax, right? So Social Security, FICA, not FICA, what is it? Social Security and Medicare, Medicaid. Those two bills come out, and then you have your income tax. Well, don't worry, the income tax is just you. You just have to pay that. But your employer has to pay exactly as much as you're paying on the Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid as you do. So that means that while my dear friend Evan, one of my employees, good employee for a long time, had to pay a pretty decent amount in Social Security and Medicare, Medicaid this year in taxes, and he's not getting that back, I had to pay as much as he had to pay and as much as every other one of my employees had to pay, which came out to over $30,000 in taxes. Now, for those of you out there looking to yourself going, well, but that $30,000 is going to go for a good purpose. I doubt it significantly, mostly because in many ways, I'm never going to see a dime of Social Security. I'm 27 years old. Social Security should be broke long ago. Social Security is a Ponzi scheme set up by the government, and it's only legal because the government's the one doing the Ponzi scheme. It's the chicken guarding, the fox guarding the hen house. But regardless, not to dive too deep into that of a topic, moral of the story is we have people like my mother, my father, who I know are listening to this, and I love you. This is not a personal thing about you guys, saying, well, I worked all of these years. I paid into Social Security. It's my time to get it back. Yeah, Mom and Dad, that's great, but it's my dollars paying for your Social Security, and I'm never going to see a dime of it. Now, like I said, it's personal for me as a taxpayer, but it's more personal for me as a business owner, because guess what? I have to pay so much in taxes, way more than my employees, and way more than most of the wealthiest business owners. Now, you may say, how is that possible? Don't get me wrong. The wealthiest business owners pay penny taxes because they pay all of their employee taxes as well. I love Elon Musk this year. Boy, Elon is one of the best tweet writers I've ever met. And frankly, to be honest, for all I know, he's got a team of people right behind him that are writing it for him, ghostwriting for him. So it may not be him, but I think it is. And Nancy Pelosi picked on him, which was the dumbest of all the people to pick on, and said, well, these billionaires need to pay their fair share. And then Elon said something like, I got to figure it out. It's like something like I paid $11 billion in taxes this year. Don't spend it all in one place. And then the tweet that he repeated was, oh, wait, you already did. Brilliant move. Because this is the point. There's this lie out there that the business owners, that rich people aren't paying their fair share, which is utter nonsense. Anybody who owns a business is paying way, way, way more in taxes than anyone else, than any other person. And small business owners get especially hurt by this. And you may say to yourself, well, how? Here's how. So I run a business, as you all know, which is why you're listening to this podcast. I have my income and I get paid by the company as a W-2 employee, right? So I am employed by my own company as the CEO. Colin gets paid a paycheck every week, the same as his employees, and pays income tax on the income for that money, right? Like every one of my employees. I pay the Social Security, the Medicare, I pay the income tax on all of those paychecks. At the end of the year, Colin has made X amount of dollars and has paid the income tax on those X amount of dollars. And then the business either has a profit or a loss. If the business has a profit, which by the way is the mark of a healthy business, if the business has a profit, Colin Murdy personally has to pay the income tax as if he took home all of that profit and put it in his pocket. However, I didn't get to take home that money and put it in my pocket. That money has to stay in my business because that's what keeps the business moving forward. So even if you take and you have a profit on the end of your business and you don't take a dime of that money out of the company and it carries forward, you still have to pay taxes on it like you did. So if you've got a profitable business, if you run a small business that's very profitable, you're paying an enormous amount of taxes on that profit, even if that profit never comes to you. And that's really frustrating, especially when you see that a lot of the taxes are used for utter nonsense. And when it comes down to it, I've always felt that the best way to solve the problem would be to invert the tax system. And by that I mean, most of the taxes that I pay should go to my local municipality, and a very small percentage of my dollars should go to the federal government. And the federal government should do two things: national security and border defense and customs and border patrol. Those two things. That should be it. I don't even mind if we have a version of the welfare state. I don't mind if we have a version of Social Security or Medicare or Medicaid. I don't mind those things. They should be done locally at the state level. And they should even be done lower than that in some cases at the community level. Because guess what? The problem that I have is when I think my tax dollars are wasted, I have a very limited recourse for how to solve that problem. However, if it was my tax dollars being wasted by Jim, our mayor, down the road, I can solve that problem. I can go talk to Jim tomorrow about this. I know why it's not done that way, though. Very simply put, it's really hard to corrupt that system. Because if you divest all of that power away from the individuals on high and you put it in the hands of all of these local people, now rather than having to have a company corrupt one person or 5 people, they have to corrupt hundreds of thousands of people spread across all of the country with different belief systems and different understandings. And you may say to yourself, well, how could that work? How could we have any national cohesion if every state was allowed to have their own Medicare, their own Social Security? What happens if you move states? It's a great question and a good one to talk about. And we should discuss that. But that's not even on the table. That's not even a discussion that we get to have. We can't look for solutions like that because we're so busy saying, well, the tax system is broken, but what are we going to do about it, right? And so many people look at tax. The government has beautifully set this up. The government has set this up so beautifully. Because what ends up happening is this. If you're a normal person who works as an employee and takes home a paycheck, you get stabbed a tiny little bit every week or every 2 weeks for an entire year. And then when you file your taxes, oh, the government so nicely gives you all of this money. They give you this big payout. And you're so excited to get your tax returns. All the while not realizing that it was your money in the first place. So they stabbed you 1,000 times and then said sorry for 20 of them. And you say, wow, thanks for saying sorry 20 times, rather than saying, I shouldn't have had that money taken from me in the first place. So as you may believe, I really don't like tax season. And part of the reason why is because that $30,000 that I paid in Social Security and in Medicare, beyond all of the additional taxes that I'm going to pay personally, which is not insignificant, beyond all of that, the bigger issue is what could I have done with that $30,000? Now, everyone out there is like, well, what if you put it in your pocket? That would be terrible. We wouldn't want you to take home the profits of your work. And to those people, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do to help you. You're lost. But to everyone else who realizes that if I had $30,000 that I didn't have to pay to the federal government, was able to reinvest in my business, things would be a lot better. $30,000 is a salary. I mean, not a salary. It's a lot of months of work for another employee. We could hire an additional employee potentially. Maybe not entirely. We'd have to pay them a little more than that. But regardless, we could still use that $30,000 for a lot. And I think every small business owner out there is looking at this time of year and going, why am I paying you again? And people will say, well, the roads, the bridges, the telephone lines, the power, and all of those other things. And you may say to yourself, yeah, but how much of our annual national budget, even state budget, goes to those problems versus everything else? You spend a little bit of time looking into it, you'll realize that the government spends a ton of money on things other than infrastructure. And even the things they do with infrastructure isn't particularly effective. Anyway, I think I'm going to let this rant end here, mostly because at some level, this is about as tame as I can get with it. It is obviously near and dear to my heart, and it is personally offensive to me, and it is frustrating. I could have put that $30,000 into my employees' retirement accounts and done a whole heck of a lot more for them than Social Security will do in 40 years from now. Take that with you. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in today. Be sure to check back in Thursday for our next topic. It's going to be cheerier. I can't promise what it's going to be, but it'll be cheerier than this. There's not a lot of things more dismal than this. Don't forget to check that subscriber button as well as the notification bell to get notified of our latest podcast right away. If you have any questions or concerns about your leather binder, journal, folio, accessory, anything else we sell, please feel free to contact us on the main page of our website at Murdy Creative Co. Or you can contact us via Instagram and Facebook. You can text, email, call, direct message, all the usuals. We'll do our best to get back to you as soon as possible, but we do appreciate your patience. If you have a quick question or you want to place an order over the phone, please feel free to contact us at 414-434-9001. You can call or text that number. We are available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Central Time. That is 414-434-9001. If you don't get a hold of us either during business hours or after, please feel free to leave us a voicemail. If you're asking about a specific order you're calling in reference to that order, please include the order number. It starts with S, and then it's usually 4 or 5 numbers after that. That does help us triangulate, kind of figure out exactly who we're talking to, and help us kind of troubleshoot problems from there. If you think we deserve it, a good review can go a long way to help us grow our new community. Both a review on whatever podcast app you're listening on, but also a review on the product. You can go and read all of our amazing 5-star reviews at murdycreative.co/reviews. There's a button there that says, do you recommend the Murdy Creative Company? You click yes. That'll take you to facebook.com/murdycreative.co/reviews. You answer the question there, and you can write all your review. We love them. We read them out loud. They are read at our staff meetings. Everyone appreciates them. If you are instead looking to leave a bad review, there's another button there that says get directly in contact with us. It is deeply important to me personally that everyone has a good experience with this company. We will do anything in our power, including recrafting, refunding, anything. We will take care of you. Please give us an opportunity to do so, though, before you leave us a bad review. Word of mouth is the best form of advertising, so please tell your friends. You can give us that little shareable link there. Sorry, I'm going to try that again. If you go to the bottom left-hand corner of our website, there's a rewards tab. You click on that little button, it'll pop up the panel. If you're logged in, any purchase you make gets you 10% back as in-store credit. And there's a shareable link there. If you share that with your friends and family, they get $10 off their first order, and you get $10 of in-store credit when they make that order. So it's a great way to share the company. It does help us. If you're looking for multiple items for gifts, giveaways, any reason, we do have bulk discounts built directly into our cart. All you need to do is add whatever number you'd like to your cart, and it'll automatically apply that bulk discount. If you're looking to get a custom engraved item, we have no minimums and no setup fees. It's a simple flat fee, normally about $15. It can go up a little bit depending on the size and complexity, but the system is all built so that you can add your own personalization on the website itself directly. You can build the item in the customizer however you want with whatever engravings you would like. Once you are done doing that, you add it to the cart, it'll update the price automatically to include that engraving, and you can purchase and check out right then and there. We also have availability with our customer service team, where if you would like us to make a mock-up for you, as well as a custom order link, we still can do that. Please send us an email at sales, SALES, @murdycreative.co. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Have a great day, and goodbye.